So yesterday was the tournament day for TTZ on Lake LBJ. Ended up taking 43rd with my partner Dylan Looze. You know, it was after I'd say 50 hours of pre-fishing, 4 trips to Marble Falls and Horseshoe Bay and Kingsland. You know, I fished quite a bit, and after the long, dark, depressing ride home last night, I spent that whole time wondering what I did wrong. And you know, I think I may have even just spent a little too much time focusing on getting my limit. After all those hours, you know, going into tournament day, I knew I had 9 spots that I could catch at least a 5-fish limit off of by 9 a.m. So really it came down to our biggest problem being where we were going to be able to start come tournament day. And our initial goal, of course, was to catch our 5-fish limit of measurable fish by 9 a.m. Well, 8:30 rolled around and we had our limit. Well, our plan was unfolding like it was supposed to, but after we got that limit, we decided to go big fish hunting, because all throughout my tournament fishing for LBJ, you know, I was catching good fish, averaging maybe like 10 or 12, maybe 15 pounds on my best day up there. So I knew that there wasn't going to be much difference if I spent the rest of the day doing the same thing, or if I just went right in after I caught my initial measurable limit. You know, even after my last day up there, when I thought I found my big fish bite, it really, you know, I knew that in order for us to do really well, we were going to have to find that big fish bite and hunt for it all day long. We took off. We left the dam after catching our 5-fish limit, and then we immediately shot out and went on a big fish hunt. I'd say for about 2 hours. Couldn't buy a bite, so we decided to go back to the dam, just hammer it and hope that we start calling fish. You know, I knew it was loaded with fish, and I saw guys fishing there all day long and not really catching much. But just like my method for my event on Bass Drop a few weeks back, when I started pre-fishing up there, I started pre-fishing faster, heavier moving baits, and then I worked my way down from there. Well, come tournament day, the best baits I could imagine to have tied on, you know, was going to be rattle trap, because my partner was catching fish on them. I was begging that topwater bite was going to turn on. You know, ended up being, I think, like close to 80 degrees that day, and on the almost the very end of a huge warming trend. So I think I was pressing my luck with this. But I still think that bite's coming here real soon. During my pre-fishing times, I was finding fish on a Bama bug flavored jig and a black and blue flavored jig. On tournament day, I decided, you know, they had some reeds up there. I knew that they were in semi-deep water. So I even brought me a punching rig. It was a light punching rig, just because it was easy to spook fish, so I didn't want to throw anything big and fast. I also was throwing this Whopper Plopper. It's the Whopper Plopper 90. I think this is probably more up my alley than a real buzzbait. This thing is super easy to work. I throw it on a 7.7 rod.
Both 25 will be the last of the first flight, due back at 3 o'clock.
I run a 6.3-to-1 reel on it, and that allows for me to speed it up or slow it down.
Be sure and give me 100 yards or so before you hit it. Give me 100 yards after check by me.
It seems like no matter what speed you decide to run it at, it still has a perfect slap on that water from the time you start reeling it to the time you get it to the boat. So that was kind of a Hail Mary bait too, but like I said, I was really expecting for that topwater bite to turn on. Same goes for my frog. You know, I'm a big frog guy. I throw the Spro Bronzeye 65s almost religiously. Although when it's, you know, during these colder months down here in Texas, I tend to like these popping frogs a little bit better. And normally I don't even throw this color bait, but because almost every store around me doesn't have the color that I wanted, of course I had to pick the closest thing. So by the end of the day, we were culling out fish, not anything with any real size, but you know, we ended up replacing a couple fish that, you know, barely measured, maybe coming in at a pound, pound and a half, with a couple larger, with 2 or 3 larger fish. And you know, when it came down to it, the only bait that ended up working for me all day long, actually for my entire team, was a black and blue Senko. My partner, he caught one real early on a rattle trap, and that was it. That trap bite shut down, and immediately he switched over to a Senko, and you know, started throwing it, and we're just kind of dead sticking it and jiggling it on the bottom next to the grass edges. And fortunately, we ended up catching a bunch of fish. We caught a ton of fish, but we just couldn't get into anything of any real size. And so I kind of feel like, you know, we accomplished most of our goal. The way we were beasting out going up there pre-fishing, you know, I feel like we should have had a lot more than 9 pounds, but you know what? We sure did work for those 9 pounds. And you know, at the end of the day, when you come in at in 43rd spot, and there's 190 boats, and I think 372 or 73 anglers, you know, that's a pretty good day in my book. You know, we get great points for it. You know, I got there and I met a lot of people. I got, you know, just going to a TTZ event, it's awesome, dude. You know, they set up such a good event, and you know, no matter what lake it is, you know, sometimes it's tough to host tournaments on individual lakes due to accommodations, you know, but for the most part, you know, it seemed like everybody was having a great time. I know all of the anglers there, they were just, you know, blown away to be a part of a record-breaking event for TTZ. You know, talked to a lot of people after the event, and you know, I talked to some guys, they didn't even have a bite until like 11, 12, 1 o'clock. It was wild. I mean, some people that I really expected to come in and just dominate, they didn't even catch a fish. I can't say it was tough for us, but because we caught fish nonstop, but for size, we just couldn't find size, and that was our biggest hurdle. You know, the wind started to pick up, and then it died down, and then it pick up, then it died down. But for the most part, you know, our goal was to get that 5 fish limit. But you know, moving forward into the future, you know, I feel like after I'm able to find a 5 fish limit, I need to start spending more time finding bigger fish. I'm getting pretty confident in the skills that I do have. I I'm shooting myself in the foot right now because I thought I was on a good bite, and when it came down to it, you know, it wasn't a good enough bite. But I sure wish I did know how I got beat. But I also understand not knowing that, because I think the guys that won, they were actually fishing bass champs next week. So, you know, it was a great event. You know, I had a great partner. We were able to work together really good. He's a really great angler. We found fish quick. You know, I relied on him right out of the bat to pull, you know, 50% of the weight, just like I was. And we both did that. He had a great boat. You know, he was running I think it's an 18-foot Skeeter. You know, it's not the fastest boat on the lake, but you know what? It got us in the 43rd spot. If we would have fished better, if we would have found better fish, that boat would have been even better. You know, we would have thought even more highly of it. But we're absolutely appreciative of everything we've got, everything that we've been supported with, and, you know, everybody we're out there working hard for, you know, our families. But at the end of the day, it's all about pulling in those 5 fish limits. You know, I sure would like to know how they caught those fish. But I get it, man. You've got stiff competition up there. You know, I've got guys that I saw finish below me that I couldn't believe that they did. You know, but I mean, I think ultimately even those guys know that it comes down to, you know, how much work you put in on the front end. And you know, I know some guys that come out and just kind of wing it, and then I know other guys who spend their lives, you know, devoted to doing this, and, you know, putting in 2, 3, 4 days a week on a lake just to compete. And, you know, because you can't go to TTZ and just wing it, man. If you're going to cut a check, if you're going to get paid, you got to work for it. There's no messing around. And this year, you know, that with them guys guaranteeing $10,000, man, that's so much money. And when I saw that 10 grand get paid out to those guys yesterday, made me want to turn around and go start pre-fishing for my next tournament right away. So at the end of the day, you know, we ended up having most of our fish off of a black and blue flake Yamamoto Senko. You know, I can't wait till our next event with TTZ. It's going to be down on Canyon Lake. You know, Canyon Lake, I think, is a really tough lake. I fished down there a couple times. I took second place in a tournament toward the end of last year down there. And you know, it's extremely clear water, really tough fishing, lots of small fish in there. You know, you can almost catch a fish on anything you throw, but it's going to come down to that big fish bite. And so, you know, my goal is to go down there and search for nothing but a big fish bite. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know there's smallmouth down there, but I don't know what's going on. That's my next step. So until then, it all starts out on my kayak. Peace.